Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Friday and we're trying something different that we've never done before. First of all, I am joined by the incredible Matt Cluley. How you doing, Matt?
Hi.
Don't look confused. You know what this is about. Don't look confused. No.
Right, yeah, okay.
You know what this is about. So, basically, this is hopefully the final video I'm going to make on the Atomic Deck. The Atomic Deck has been something that I've been working on for like so many years. I started working on it before the Quantum Deck came out. Everybody by now knows I was working on this with Lloyd Barnes, Rich Relish, George Tesaro and Joshua Riley, and the team behind the Atomic Deck have created the Atomic Deck. Now, it came out at Blackpool. You were there. You were demming it. You learned it. You know what it is. It sold out like in, I don't know, 0.3 seconds or something.
It sold out by 10:45 on Friday morning.
Sold out by 10:45 on Friday morning, and it was incredibly popular. You know, like every dealer had sold out by the time of the convention end. You were at one point running around desperately trying to buy copies from other dealers because so many people were coming up to us. Yeah. Like, and everybody was going away, going, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" And then went out to the general public. And it's pretty much sold out at this point now, and has been very, very successful. However, it's also been very controversial. There has been a lot of negative press about the Atomic Deck. Now, to be clear, it's the same names coming up again and again, but there's a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of comments out there. You must have seen some of them. There's a lot of comments. There's a lot of people talking on YouTube. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. You know, there's a couple of reviewers very specifically that really didn't like the Atomic Deck. And you know, I've made videos about it. So I decided to do a video addressing all of this. It was a freaking 2.5 hour movie. And I thought I'd addressed everything, but then after that, more stuff has happened. I then released a video talking about the crib because that was a big update. I then did an interview with Joshua Riley talking about how the app has been updated, which I don't think you even know about.
Nope.
Have you got your phone on you? I'll show you that in a bit. Have you got your phone on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. The crib has been updated, which is amazing, and we did a video on that. But still, people are asking me about the Atomic Deck, that there's still comments going up on various different YouTube channels and the Magic Cafe every single day. There's certain people that don't want to let things drop. So this is hopefully the final video that I'm going to do on the subject. And here's how the format of this goes. I've got Matt involved with this. This is not a typical Craig and Matt video where we're taking the piss out of each other. I'm sure there'll be an element of that. However, Mike, I asked Mike to go through YouTube, Facebook, Magic Cafe, basically everywhere that somebody has an opinion. Wow. And I asked him to write down...
Is that where he's been for the last week?
Yeah. I asked him to write down every question that people have, every statement that people make about the Atomic Deck. And I wanted you to be the interviewer, and you're going to ask me every question. Be unbiased. We can have a conversation about it. Absolutely. If you think I'm talking crap about anything, feel free to say it. I am going to get an Atomic Deck in a second before we start this.
Have we got some?
Well, I've got one. I've got my own personal Atomic Deck.
I sold mine at Blackpool. I genuinely don't have one.
Ryland sold his. So
yeah, I sold Ryland. The only reason I didn't sell yours is because you had it on you.
But I'm going to get an Atomic Deck before we start. But I want you to ask all of these questions that Mike's written down.
Okay.
Now, I will tell you before we start, that there's a, you know... I've made a promise to myself that I won't rant on this channel anymore, and it's been genuinely. No, we rubbed that off. It's been genuinely around about, probably genuinely seriously. It's been about probably almost a year since I've ranted on this channel. Properly seriously. I mean, you and I joke around sometimes, but a proper full-on rant has been about a year. And I went to the Magic Cafe and I said I've made a New Year's resolution that I'm going to be nicer to everybody. And I've been trying very hard to be nicer to everybody. There's a guy on the Magic Cafe called RNK. His name's Baffling Bob. And he he constantly will go on there and push my buttons. And then when I say even something slightly that's a little bit less than super nice, he's like, that's why you don't make New Year's resolutions, because you break them. And he winds me up something rotten. So I'm going to say this is not going to be a rant. However, up until this point, I've been holding back when it comes to my opinions. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to say exactly what I think. And it's going to be my opinion. The opinions of me do not necessarily reflect the opinions of you or Ryland, because I know you don't like getting involved in controversy. You're a super nice guy. You just like to be everyone's friend, you know. But you know, you've seen the level of hate that's on the cafe. You've seen the level of hate.
The level of hate on the cafe. I've heard. I don't go on the cafe, but
Yeah.
I've heard the level of hate.
Like, you know what's been pushed through my front door, for example.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so for example, I've had people pushing through my front door a picture of Ryland taken from the day before walking to school, along with a letter saying pull the trick, else the kid is dead. I've had to go to the police about that. That is a thing that's happened over this card trick. I have had people call me every single name under the sun. I've had people tell me I'm a liar, I'm a cheat. They've called me every insult they can: fat, bald, stupid, ugly, bad teeth. Every single insult has come up, and I've been super, super nice. And the one or two times I've been slightly less than nice, people have been like, well, one particular person has been like, that's why you don't keep New Year's resolutions, despite the fact that now for 2 weeks I've been putting up with personal insults over and over again. So this is going to be the last video on the subject, and I'm not pulling any fucking punches. I'm not going to rant, but I'm not going to pull any fucking punches. And I'm just going to answer the questions that you've got on that sheet. So I'm going to get an atomic deck, and then we're going to begin. Right. Question time.
Oh, okay, cool.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what these questions are.
Neither do I.
Start with number 1. Work your way down. Are you ready?
There's a lot of questions, man.
Well, I'm just going to... This is what Mike went through. We've got all the questions here. Just... take your time and let's address them one at a time.
Welcome to Magic TV. It's 9 o'clock. We have some questions with our special guest this evening, Craig Petty. These are all genuine questions.
All genuine questions. You ready?
Question 1. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
This is question 1 that Mike's written down.
Okay.
And he hasn't even written question marks at the end of it. It's more of a statement. Is the atomic deck shit? Genuinely, that's question 1.
Oh my god.
Is the atomic deck shit, Craig?
No.
Next question.
That's actually a really good question, and the reason
though?
But that's what people are saying in the comments. So a lot of people, I've never seen a trick more polarizing in my life. Like, there's a Facebook group, right, with like, I think 600 or 700 people in it. Everyone who's bought atomic decks. I've never seen a more positive Facebook group in my life. People are in there, they're chatting, they're sharing ideas with the atomic deck, they're helping each other. If someone has an issue, like, several people jump in immediately. It's amazing. This Facebook group is incredible. And those people absolutely love it. I've had 3 phone calls from TV magicians over here and in the States wanting to get permission to put this on a TV show that they're involved in because they think it's absolutely incredible.
Cool.
So, but then you'll see a lot of people that are they fucking hate this thing with a passion. They're like, with the amount of people that go, this is the worst trick I've ever seen. Which
Wow.
I don't get, even if... And they point to it. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's an any card at any number. And there's lots of different any card at any numbers out there. I've created 1 million of them. There's a ton of any card at any numbers out there. And people will say, this has got too many limitations. And one of the reasons that people will say that is they'll say, well, you need to use a phone to do it. You 30% of the time it doesn't work. What else will they say? Like, the cards are thin. Like, there's a million different things that people say that point to why this isn't like a very good trick. But even if you don't like the trick, I can't see why people would say this is the worst trick in the world. Because if you actually think about it,
it's definitely not the worst trick that's
it's
ever
not
been
the worst trick
created.
in the world. Because if you think about it, purely from an effect point of view, the any card at any number, you can put a deck down on the table, you can name a card, you can name a number, 70% of the time, purely mathematically, even if you do no presentation to it, 70% of the time, that card will appear at that number. Just over 2,000 out of, I think, 2,600 or 2,700 possibilities, that card will appear at that number. That is pretty freaking amazing. Yeah. Now, one of the things that people say, and the reason it's shit, is because, oh, but you have to get them to change their mind. But a lot of these comments are coming from people who don't actually own the deck. Most people that own it absolutely love it. Or the people that have played with it and tried it love it. But the problem is there's this narrative that gets spun. You know, there's certain reviewers that go, this is terrible. They're really passionate about how bad they think it is. And then there's a certain section of the Magic community, Matt, that don't think I'm a particularly nice chap. I'm not their cup of tea.
Right.
I don't know if you've noticed that before.
I've heard about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not well liked amongst a certain section of people. And they will literally jump on any particular opportunity they can and go, well, this trick's shit because Craig Petty's shit, because he's a shit creator, or whatever the case may be. And the point is, any problem that people have with this isn't a problem. So, you know the people that say, oh, it's not very good because you can't, because 70% of the time it won't work. Well, if you put presentation into it, and you actually say, hey, you limit the lower numbers, you limit number 52, you limit, through the presentation that I use. I said 89. Apparently, according to David from Unbiased Magic Reviews, it's 83 point something, whatever. There's 5% in it. Let's say it's that. That's an 84% chance of any card appearing at any position in the deck. But even if it doesn't fit within that range, yes, you have to get them to change one aspect of it. But you've done that.
I didn't have a problem with that at Blackpool.
You don't have a problem with it. Now what's happened is David, I know you didn't watch his video, he put on there a montage of me doing it at Blackpool. You know how ill I was at Blackpool.
Yeah, we both were.
Really sick, like sick as a dog. And he's put a montage on there of me doing it, and he's been very selective and taking the videos of me doing it where people have had to change their mind. And he's like, hey, is this the perfect take-on? Because people have to change their mind. People have to change their mind. It's totally not an issue.
Is there a perfect wouldn't a perfect ACAN be like actual Magic?
Well, here's the thing. The closest thing and people compare this to Asiwin's ACAN. I know you haven't seen it. Asiwin's ACAN is amazing. And what it is, so it's a memorized deck, right? It's basically a deck that's in Mem deck. And what you have to do, this is what you have to do. So you put the deck down on the table. You need to know the order. So you have someone name a card. Name a card.
7 of clubs.
7 of clubs, and you have someone name a number.
22.
22. So now you have to work out where the 7 of clubs is in stack. Then you have to work out how many cards you need to shift from the top to the bottom of the deck in order to put it in the 22nd position. You have to do that very quickly in your head. Then when you've done that, the deck's in the box. But there's a way of actually, without giving too much away, there's a way of actually getting to the point of where that, so you know how many cards you have to shift from the top to the bottom. You have to get to that point, and then you have to basically give the deck a pass as you're taking it out of the box, do an invisible cut to put it into that position.
I would not be able to do that.
And that's the point. And I've seen a lot of people that go online and go, well, this trick is trash. If you want to do a real ACAN, learn Asiwin's. But the thing is, Asiwin's ACAN is amazing, don't get me wrong. I can't do it. I'm pretty good at Magic.
It sounds like watching him do it would be
watching Asi do
mind-blowing. Yeah.
Watching Asi do it is amazing.
Yeah.
And to his credit, David from Unbiased Magic Reviews has got something called the Unbiased ACAN, which is based on Asiwin's, or he'll say it's based on something else previous to Asiwin's, but whatever. The concept is similar to Asiwin's, but he's reduced the amount of mental work. So you still have to do the move, but you're reducing the amount of mental arithmetic to be able to do it. But the amount of people I've seen do that move and make it look terrible. What this does is this puts this in the hands of pretty much most magicians.
I'm not a card magician.
And you were doing this.
I was demoing at Blackpool.
You were demoing this, and that's fine. You don't, there's a certain snobbery, like, oh, you should do, the amount of comments I've seen where it's like, oh, you should do Asiwin's, that's the one you should do. Beginners, learn sleight of hand and have some self-respect. Fuck off. Have some self-respect. You perform all over the world. You've just finished performing at the Curious Cabaret as one of the headline acts. As far as I know, you can't even do a fucking double lift. That hasn't...
I can do a double lift.
Yeah, but when do you use a double lift in the real world, right?
Not very often.
But that doesn't mean that you're not an incredible magician and you're outperforming. This snobbery and magic is ridiculous. So what this does is this puts it in the realm of other people. And then you have people going, well, it's only good for amateurs and beginners. Fuck off. How many shows have you been to with me and I do this in my show? Mm-hmm. And what's the reaction?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Because for people that say, oh, you have to change your mind, well, then use the website version, because the website version, you don't have to get them to change their mind or only perform it to a group of people where there's like 5 or 6 people. Then you're never going to have to change people's minds. Or if you're doing it one-on-one, do the website version, because then with the website version, they will change their mind automatically to get it down below 5%. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to say to them, change your mind. You're telling them to find a lower percentage. But people get hung up on one aspect of it or the other aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, that's a long way of saying, no, I don't think it's shit, really. I'm sure
that said no.
No, it's not shit. Next question.
Next
what
question.
We got?
I think we may have just answered this already.
Go on.
Is it practical in the real world? Isn't it just magic for magicians?
Well, we have answered that, but the one thing I will say in it, and this is the thing that kind of really wound me up about some of the negative comments, the people that are out there that are saying, this will never work in the real world. This is just magic for magicians. This will not work performing it to real people.
Why?
Well, that's what they say. They say it won't work because the cards...
Without any...
They say for a variety of different reasons, the cards are too thin. I mean, you've done this. You put this into someone's hands and they spread it out. All they do is they just see a deck of cards like this. It's not too thin. Why
would you put them in someone's hands anyway?
Well, I deal them into people's hands, but even if you
did.
You see me do it. I deal them into spectators' hands. But that's the point. You see me doing that, and you're never gonna, And then you see the reactions on the live performances. Hell, you've been to shows where I've done this, and you've seen me at close-up gigs doing this and getting insane reactions for this trick, simply because it works in the real world and allows me to focus on presentation. Do I need to sometimes reframe it? Yeah. But that's not a problem. It's genuinely not a problem. And actually, on that, you've got your phone over there. You haven't seen the update Josh has done to the Notes app, have you?
No.
Open up the Atomic Deck Notes app.
I literally upgraded my phone. Oh no, that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Boom.
So I upgraded my phone yesterday. I wasn't sure if it had come over.
So Josh has updated this now. Mm-hmm. So and made it like a million times better. So there's the Notes app, right? Mm-hmm. So for those of you that don't know how the Notes app works, and I'm basically exposing the trick here, but I don't care. Let's say they say, I don't know, so you said 7 of clubs before. So let's say they say 7 of clubs and they say 22, for example. Holding down there will tell me what I need to do. So that's dealing from the top, dealing 19 doubles, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, if it doesn't work, let's say 2, because I don't think 7 of clubs at 2 will work. It'll say permission doesn't work. This is the problem that people have, because they're like, well, if it doesn't work, I have to change something. But what happens if it doesn't work again? What happens if it doesn't? What happens if I have to change their mind 3 times? And this is the state of the misinformation that people are saying. People are like, oh, Craig has to change his mind 3 times. They don't see the upgrades that we're making to this. So, for example, what Josh has done now, which is pretty genius. Check this out. Oh, hang on. Cancel. There you go. What Josh has done now is, if you put in 7 of clubs now, just 7 of clubs, and you hold down there, it gives you all the possibilities of where that card could be. So you can see from the face, it'll be an 8 to 15. From the top, it'll be a 21 to 41. And it'll also be from the face at 42 to 43. And it'll also be 45 to 51 from the top. So I can now have that there, and I can say, name a number. Name a number for me. Name a number.
22.
22. So I can see 22 is going to be within range. Yeah. Now, I don't even have to write 22 down. If I want to, I can do a little bit of maths. I know 22 will be 19 doubles because of how this system works. Right. So I don't even need to write 22 down. But if I do write 22 down because I don't want to do the math, boom, there's my 19 doubles. Mm-hmm. Now, what that does is that means that you don't ever have to be in a situation where they change more than once. Because let's just say, 17 doesn't work. Can you see that 17 doesn't work?
Yeah.
17 doesn't work. So I could then say to you, right, you've got a number, because I know what I need to do to bring it within range. So I can say, right, You've got a number, but what we're going to do, we're going to make it unique. We're going to personalize it to you. So you are thinking of a number you didn't even think you were going to think of. So what's your date of birth?
30th of April.
30th of April. So let's take the month, shall we? Let's take the month. And let's add the month onto the number that you said. Now, you said 17. April's the 4th month. What's 17 plus 4?
21.
21. And that is going to be within range. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to use a month. You could use a lucky number or whatever.
Yeah.
But because I know what I need to do to bring it within range, I only ever have to make one change once.
Yeah.
But the problem is people are like, well, it's not practical in the real world because you might have, Unbiased showed me having to change people a couple of times. That's not the case now.
Yeah, but people in the real world won't know what you're doing.
No, they won't. They won't have a clue.
So if you're changing things around and making changes to stuff and whatever else, that's just part of the trick, right?
Yeah. And if it is an issue, then simply just, if it is an issue, use the website. But yeah, is it practical in the real world? You shut Siri up.
Siri's making a noise.
Is it practical in the real world? I think all I can say is I do this in the real world all the time. You go into the Facebook group, you see videos of people doing this in the real world all the time.
Yeah, lots of people, lots of magicians that I know do it in the real world all the time. So they wouldn't if it didn't work. Question 3.
Yep.
Why the hate in the comments online?
Well, that's a very good question.
Is that directed at you?
Yeah. Why is there so much hate in the various different comments on YouTube videos?
About you or
about me, about the trick?
Oh,
it's really become the same thing. It's become me and the trick. A lot of people won't say the atomic deck isn't good. They'll say Craig isn't good. And honestly, there's a couple of different reasons for this. The first reason is I've got a checkered past. The amount of people that still bring up red from like 18 years ago. Whenever I get into a situation like this, they'll point to the fact that why is it that there's always so much controversy with my tricks? They'll point to EDC, they'll point to the original atomic deck, stuff like that. Sometimes it's a case of there's certain reviewers, online reviewers in the community that just don't particularly like me. We've had a bad history. People like David from Unbiased Magic Reviews, people like Scott from Everything Pro Magic, we don't get on. David's made videos about me, I've made videos about David, same with Scott, and they've got their supporters, they've got their followers, just like I've got my supporters and my followers. So if they say something's not particularly great and they don't like something, in fairness to Scott, he hasn't reviewed it, but he did do a video about Blackpool saying that the atomic deck was like one of the worst things he's ever seen. He's going to have his supporters that are going to be going, yeah, damn right, yeah, that's right. It didn't help with Sean Devine. So Sean Devine put a review on. He was one of the first negative reviews of the product. And he then openly admitted afterwards that he didn't actually watch the tutorial for the trick. So he bought the trick. He watched Lloyd's video of him do it to Kaylee, got fooled, bought the trick, hates thin cards, hates rough and smooth, hates sticky cards, opened up the deck, looked at the cards, in his words, it pissed him off and put him in a bad mood. He filmed a review about it without watching the tutorial. And I know you didn't see that review, but on the review, he ripped into the deck, he said it's the worst thing that's happened to Magic, he screwed up the cards, and that started the whole negativity. And even though he put a thing up afterwards saying, I was probably a bit too harsh on it, I didn't even watch the tutorial, the amount of people that were like, you shouldn't change your mind, it's an honest review. You should have been honest about that. Is Craig standing there putting a gun against your head? People seem to think that I'm this head of the Magic Mafia and I can manipulate the Magic community. Like, that comes up more than once. Like, have you ever seen me have time to manipulate anybody with anything?
No.
Like genuinely, that would involve a level of commitment that I just haven't got. That would involve a level of giving a shit.
You haven't got that level of power in that room.
No.
Never mind the Magic community.
But what happens is, people will be like, oh, Sean, you were just being honest. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. If you had a trick that you bought out and someone gave it a scathing review and they'd never even watched the instructions for the trick, is that an honest review? Really? And as much as I like Sean and I like his channel, and I really do, calling that an honest review when you haven't watched the tutorial is simply fucking bullshit. It is. And I will tell anybody it's bullshit. I don't care. Like I said, I'm not holding back. And so, people will go in there and that starts to hate. And then there's certain people who really don't like me in the comments. And that's fine. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, like I said.
Really?
I know. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But here's the thing, actually. And you've got to be honest about this. I was having this conversation with Pete Nardi the other day. And he said, I meet lots of people who tell me that they don't like you. And then I meet other people and they'll be like, I didn't think I liked you, but then I met you and actually you're a really nice guy. And I think a lot of people judge whether they like me or not on my online persona. Like when we do the MAT test and I'm like over the top ridiculous and that's an act.
I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. That is an act, and people just base their opinion on me off that. And then you'll have somebody like Chris James made a lovely comment on one of the there was a big thread about how I'm an asshole, and he. It is what it is, man. Whatever. Fuck
Brilliant.
off. Chris James put a really nice comment on there, and he said and I've never told this story, and I'm only saying it because Chris put it on social media, and he was like, I'd completely forgotten about it, to be honest. And he's like, a couple of years ago, I was about to lose my home. I had no money. This is Chris. He was really in a bad situation before he went to Alakazam. And he rang me up and he's like, I'm really struggling. And I was like, look, what's your PayPal? And he's like, why? And I said, just give it me. And the next day, $2,000 was in his PayPal account. And I said, I don't want it back. Pay it forward. And
really?
Yeah.
I'm
Genuinely.
really struggling.
Don't care. First of all, I see your invoices. You're fucking not. You make more money than me.
It's worth a try.
But that's the point. Why the level of hate? I'm a dick. I'm outspoken.
Agreed.
I'm egotistical.
Agreed.
I don't fucking drop anything easily.
Agreed.
Realistically, I shouldn't be doing this video. I should just be letting it go. But it comes from the fact that I'm very passionate and people know where they stand with me 100% of the time. But I am a dick. I totally get that. And people don't... No, I am. Let's be honest. I can be a dick. And I can be annoying, but my heart's in the right place. But there's people out there that don't like me and will happily spread the hate. I mean, you want to add anything to that? I mean, why the hate online? Why?
I don't know. People.
Danny Ragg was like, it's jealousy.
Yeah, there's probably an element of that. There's an element of that's just the world we live in at the moment. And I know that Mike was saying that there's comments and stuff coming in from like withheld names and false email addresses and all that kind of stuff. And that's just keyboard warriors doing what they can do from the safety of their homes.
The amount of people that have been messaging every email address to do with me.
Yeah,
saying,
that's ridiculous. I hate that.
Saying, oh, you're this, you're that, and the other, but they haven't got the ball. Here's the thing: we were at Blackpool for 4 days. I'm pretty much sure some of the people that are saying this shit, they were at Blackpool as well. I know.
No, yeah, but people that are like hiding behind fake names in their bedrooms aren't gonna come up to you in real life. That's not.
Fair play to David from Magic Unbiased. We don't see eye to eye at the best of times, but at least he tells everyone who he is.
Well, yeah, he puts his name on it, doesn't he? He stands
yeah.
up and says, "This is my opinion. I'm saying this." He doesn't hide behind fake names and shit. Anyway, how long is this video been going on for? We've only done 3 questions.
Get on with it. Hurry up.
I'm already late for lunch. Was the ad copy misleading?
Oh, here's the question. A lot of people are saying that the ad copy was misleading, and the reason they're saying the ad copy was misleading was because of 4 reasons. The first reason is we referred to this as the ultimate version of ACAN, the Holy Grail. Yeah, I think the tagline that was written by Murphy's was any card, any number, perfection every time. And people are saying, well, hang on a minute, that's bullshit because you have to change the person's mind.
Because it's only 70%.
But here's the thing. So that was the first thing. In answer to that, what I will say is it's ad copy.
It's marketing.
It's ad copy. That's what you do. You write the ad copy. You're right. From the audience's perception, they had a free choice of any card or any number. Oh no, because you've got to change your mind 20% of the time. Yes, but not if you use other methods. If you use the website and you do it to a group of people, no one changes their mind ever. How many times have you seen me do it on stage to 100 people?
Yeah.
There's no changing their mind. Not only that, they think of any card and never tell you. They think of any number and never tell you. And you literally deal to the number and tell them the card. Yeah. So from my point of view, it is any card, any number, any time. From the audience's point of view, I've never seen a trick where the ad copy is written from a method point of view.
No.
Like, you don't go, the coin will, the ball will magically appear under the cup. There is a magnet in the cup and there is a magnet in the bottle. Do you know what I mean? So from my point of view, that's ad copy. Second of all, people took exception to the fact that the trailer didn't have in there about using a phone. Now, the irony is you don't need a phone because we've now published a crib. So anybody who said that, there's a crib, but you could go, yeah, but you didn't know there was going to be a crib when it was produced. No, but there is a section in there where you see 3 women on the phone going, and the voiceover is they even check to make sure they're commonly named cards and numbers, and you see them going onto the unistats.org, or you see them going on their phone and checking. Because there is no, your phone's not included. People are muddying the input methods here. Your phone isn't involved in this, really. If you don't want it to be, it can be the spectators' phones. But yeah, was that glossed over in the trailer? Absolutely. Again, that's kind of what you do. You don't highlight, but at least in my opinion. But people are the big one. People are saying is it says in the trailer, no rough and smooth, and they're like, but hang on a minute, these are doubles that stick together. And they are doubles that stick together, absolutely. And I've never hidden that. But it's not rough and smooth. People struggle with rough and smooth. This is not, there's no chemicals on these.
Yeah.
Which means that you can just pick up the card and deal it. That's a double right there. That's a double. That's a double. That's a double. This is the same deck I've been using for a very, very long time.
Yeah, we haven't got any more.
I know. Now, occasionally, do you need to wipe them down? Yes. If you're worried about it, can you add a little bit of stuff to make it more sticky? Yes. But for me, it's a big thing that this isn't rough and smooth because I've spoken to people. I've spoken to people that have bought this. George Tesaro is a perfect example. He can't do rough and smooth to save his life. He can't separate a double. He doesn't do the invisible deck because he can't separate a double. With this, it's so easy to separate. You know this because you've been doing it.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's no rough and smooth is a big selling point, especially as you consider it means unless you want extra adhesion, you don't need to prepare these cards. But, people can say that, it was a deceptive trailer and that's their opinion. All I will say is to call me out on dishonesty in a magic trick is absolutely freaking mental for the simple reason that for the last 2 years, I've been literally sitting here exposing every single trick I do. Every trick I create, I sit here and I've had Murphy's and Penguin and Alakazam pissed off with me. You know this because they've seen a video going up going, here's how the trick works. And they've rung me and they've like, take it down. We've just spent thousands putting that product together and you've just exposed it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. And you've been there when I've had those conversations with various different production companies. I've exposed that. Even this trick, before it even got released, on the Sunday before Blackpool, I did a Q&A, literally breaking down the method. I was like, the Atomic Deck Q&A. This is literally how it works. Before it went on sale.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did a Q&A, literally explaining how it works.
Of course.
And now, this is about the 5th video where I'm basically openly talking about the method. And here's the irony. People in the comments that are like, oh, Craig's being dishonest. It's a dishonest trick. He's lying to people. It's a cash grab, which comes up an awful lot. Here's the thing. The reason, most of those people that say that haven't got it. But they are saying that because they know how the trick works. They know how the trick works because I've been openly talking about it since before it's been released. So if you don't own it and you know how it works, how the fuck is it dishonest, you fucking idiots? And the other thing I'll say is I insisted, do you know how hard it was to get Murphy's and Penguin to play nice? I don't think there's anybody else that could have done that. I got Murphy's to let me perform this trick on the Penguin Holiday Special because I really wanted people to see it. And I pointed to it and I was like, this is the Atomic Deck. It's going to be out very, very shortly. And that's when the whole thread on the Atomic Deck started after the Christmas special, where you saw me perform it with people's phones. So for people that are saying, oh, we didn't know it was a phone. How did you not know it was a phone? When I literally did it on the Penguin Holiday Special, which almost everybody saw. And I had 2 people comment going, oh, I bought it from Blackpool, which I don't believe. I bought it from Blackpool and I don't like it because I didn't realise it used a phone. Oh, was demming it at Blackpool using a fucking phone.
Yeah, so was I.
Like everybody was, because that was the method. Now, by the way, if you don't want to use a phone, hello, Mr. Crib, you don't have to. There's a crib instead. So you don't have to use a phone, but for anybody that says it's dishonest, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it is. But that's only my opinion. Your opinion is it's dishonest, that's fine. But I don't think I could have done more to expose the trick.
I think question 5 pretty much ties into what you just said. Why was it hyped so much? That caused most of the problems. And you've just answered that.
Yeah, I will say one thing to that, right? This is common in the magic community, Matt. People going, I'm sick of the hype. I just want to know what the trick is. I'm sick of the hype. That's marketing.
That is marketing.
That's marketing.
That's any industry.
Right. How many sales calls and sales emails do you think you've done for Slightly Unusual this week? Did you ring anybody and say, yeah, you want a magician for your wedding? Okay, there's lots of other wedding magicians, probably many of them.
Loads of them. There's probably ones that are closer to you.
There's
ones
people that are closer,
like,
people that are cheaper.
Yeah.
There's also ones that have got much higher profiles than us. They've been on TV shows all over the place. We're not that. We'll come along and we'll do some good tricks. But honestly, I look for... You don't say that. You sell the shit out of it. You tell people how amazing you are. And it's the same in any industry. And anybody who says, like, oh, the trick's been too hyped, that's what marketing companies do. That's what you should do. And I love the hype. One of the reasons that magic is so popular, because let's be honest, a very small percentage of magicians are actually professional magicians. Most of them are social performers, amateurs, hobbyists, whatever you want to call them. They live for buying more tricks. I live for buying more tricks. If I wasn't a professional magician, I would still love magic. And I'm sure you would as well.
I had 2 hours on the Sunday at Blackpool and I ran around and spent a fortune.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what you do when you love magic. And I love the hype. I get super excited when I see something getting hyped up and like, oh my God, it's getting teased. This looks really good. I wonder what it is. I wonder what it is.
Look at Alakazam.
Yeah.
I get at least 2 emails a day from Alakazam, hyping new stuff that's coming out.
Exactly. Hype for anybody who does.
Because that's what successful businesses do.
Yeah.
They promote their products.
Yeah. How did we become the number one entertainment company in the UK for kids' entertainment and magicians? Yeah.
And then doing a good job.
Yeah. So, is it hyped? Yes. Yeah. It was fucking hyped, and I'm not going to apologise for that. Yeah.
Why do people have problems dealing doubles and having them separate? Is there a quality control issue?
No, there's not a fucking quality control issue. What people are talking about, right, and I don't think you're aware of this because you're not in the Facebook group, is you don't have a problem dealing a double, because I know you don't. Some people have had problems dealing doubles like this, right? They're having trouble keeping them together. Mm-hmm. And some people are saying that the decks, the chemicals are coming off the cards.
Right.
Because they'll start practicing and dealing doubles and everything's fine, and then after a while they don't get a double, they get a single, and so they're assuming that there's a quality control issue. First of all, if there was a quality control issue, it would be an issue with everybody, and it's not an issue with everybody, it's an issue with a small percentage of people. But basically, the reason that happens is not because of chemicals. There's no chemicals on these cards.
I didn't think there were any chemicals on them.
So what happens, right, there's natural grease on your fingers. So what happens is when you're practicing this, right, when you're practicing and you're dealing, when you get the atomic deck, I bet you did this. When you first got it and you learnt it, I bet you were practicing the dealing with various cards and numbers. Because it's quite a magical thing, isn't it? How's that card at that number and also that number and also that number? So you're dealing through them a hell of a lot. So there's grease getting on the cards. And what ends up happening is that grease, or sometimes dirt, will get onto the card and will basically, it's kind of like, if you ever took a bit of salt and put it onto a card, it basically will cut the cards automatically at that point. It's basically what's happening here. So the way to fix it is you just take a small dab of water and you just rub the surfaces down, and then that will get rid of the dirt and the grease, and you're good. Now, that shows it's not chemicals, because if you took a rough and smooth card and you rubbed the water off, it wouldn't stick together at all. So it's about getting rid of the dirt is what it is, which is why they're not sticking together. And it only happens when you're doing it a lot. And I'm not talking about like 2 hours at a close-up gig. I'm talking about when you first get it and you're dealing and dealing and dealing and dealing and dealing, then you might need to wipe some of these cards down. Now, the other thing you can do is you can take some Plasti Dip or a roughing stick or a little bit of magician's wax, and you can put Plasti Dip on it if you want to, just in the middle, and that will do the same thing. Some people who really aren't very good at dealing doubles, They've done that. They've done that with the plasti dip. And they've done it because they want to be more secure about the doubles being dealt. That's absolutely fine. But to be clear, you don't need to do that. And it's not a quality control issue if they're separating. They're separating because of dirt. Just wipe it down. When you start doing it like me, like I don't do this unless I'm at a gig. I don't do this, and then I'll probably do it like 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a 2-hour gig or once in a stage show. It becomes a non-issue. Especially as you put the cards away in the box, the grease will naturally go away. But if you're worried, wipe it down. And if you're really worried, use some roughing spray. But no, there's no quality control issue. I mean, I've not had a problem with it at all. Have you?
I'm shit at dealing doubles, and I was fine with it.
Okay, next question.
What would you say about the deck falling apart? It falls apart?
Apparently. There's some people that say that because they're super thin cards, they're going to get creased and they're going to get screwed up. But that's only if you... Here's the thing. Because there has to be, you push down in order to get that double. Some people have not watched the tutorial and they've like, I don't want to do it. They've squeezed the deck. And with any deck, thin cards or not, you know, yeah, these are thin cards, but there's other tricks with thin cards. Destiny deck is the thin card. That trick that you did for me for on a mat test very early on by Joshua J, Out of Sight, Out of Mind, the blank deck. Those are thin cards. There's and he fooled Penn and Teller with that. There's tons of tricks with thin cards. Double deckers are a thing. You can find thin cards everywhere. Ocean by Colin Cloud. That's a thin deck of cards. You just have to be careful with them. That's all you have to do. You have to be careful with them. It's like any deck. The more you use it, the more wrecked it's going to get. Like I've got decks that I've been using for ages, which are buggered by now.
I've got 2 or 3 problems that look very much secondhand.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of this particular trick, as long as you look after them, like this, I've looked after this. This is the same deck I've been using.
I know that we have. That's got to be because we haven't got any more.
Yeah, this is my actual personal atomic deck. So yeah, I don't. What do I say about people saying their deck's falling apart? Be more careful with them. You know, we have this with other decks. Why is nobody saying that with like other decks? Like the amount of stuff that comes out all the time, and it's like, you know, people say sometimes, oh, you know, it's I wouldn't carry a gimmick deck around with me. Well, or I wouldn't do this over a regular deck. Well, that's fine, but that's not a complaint about this. This is a complaint about your opinion about gaff decks in general. I love gaff decks. When you go to a close-up job with me, and I open my close-up case, how many decks of cards are in there?
Lots.
I love gaff decks of cards. You know, if you don't like gaff sets of cards, this is not for you. You've either got a choice of doing this and making it very easy for yourself, or learning something like Assy Wins and spending a lot of time and effort making it look really, really good. It's up to you.
What about the obvious marks?
This is a weird one, right? People are saying that these cards, these marks, are obvious.
Okay.
They're not.
Well, they are to me now because I know where they are.
They are to you, but when I first showed you this deck, you couldn't see the marks at all.
It took a while to see.
Yeah, like one person said, "Oh, you missed the ball, Craig. You should have got Phil Smith to do these cards." We didn't need Phil Smith. The marks are only there for peace of mind, so you know you've got the correct card, or for the mind reading thing where you tell them the card before you turn it over. And because the spectators aren't really involved in the deal, they're not touching the cards really. They're not dealing the cards.
They don't look at the backs. There's
They don't
no
look at the
reason
backs.
for them to, because that's not the point of it, is it?
No, it's not.
There's no heat on the back of the cards.
No heat
during the presentation.
Exactly. So, what do I think of the obvious marks? I think they're fucking great because it means I can see what the card is. I don't have a problem with the marks at all.
If it was like tricks where you are laying them out on the table or you're putting them in people's hands and they're the back of the card is in their face, fine. But
well, no, even then,
effect,
look at mind blocks. Look at how obvious the marks are there, but nobody ever sees anything. This is you know, the sort, without being rude in any way, shape, or form, the sort of people that are making comments like that have never worked in the real world in their life. People, I'm sorry, but if you're worried about the marks on the cards and you're pointing that as a problem with the deck, I just can't imagine you've worked in the real world very much. Because I can't think of one worker that would look at this deck and go, oh, I don't get away with those marks in the real world. Do you know what I mean? Could you, really?
I mean, it hasn't been an issue for anybody that I know that's had it in the real world.
Okay.
Really?
I don't know what the questions are.
This isn't a question. Again, there's no question mark. Mark's grammar is terrible. let's talk about David from Unbiased Magic Reviews. Do we have to do that? Can we just go to the next question?
Briefly. Can we briefly? We don't need to, but can we briefly?
Can I go to the loo?
No, we're staying here. We ride together. We die together. No, look, here's the thing. And I have said this probably now about 7 times. And I will say it one more time just in case people haven't heard it. Me and David have had a history with each other. It has not been a great history. And there are many things that I have said and I have done that I'm not proud of. And I will say it again. I'm more than happy to interview David anytime he wants to. And at the same time, I will apologise to him profusely for anything that's happened in the past. I will also say that I have been above and beyond. I've not jumped on his channel and replied on any of his videos. I have only ever said positive things about anything that he's been involved with, including the water principle. The irony is, there were negative comments on the water principle thread on the Magic Cafe, and I was the person that was being super positive about a lot of the stuff that was being said. I am trying to be a nice guy. With that being said, David is entitled to his opinion, and he did the review, and the review was what it was, and he said it was he said it's a contender for worst trick of the year 2025. I know you probably didn't watch it. He said
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, but he also said that the stage version is not completely shit. So there's that. Every cloud. What I will say is, David was commenting on the cafe on the Atomic Deck thread before it was even announced. Before, like back in January, somebody started a thread because of the Penguin Magic special. And he made numerous posts on there talking about how could this be the Holy Grail? How could this be the greatest any card at any number? Look at how terrible it is. And he went on to the Penguin Holiday Special and downloaded, he went into the source code of the website to do a statistical analysis on the website so that he could fact check. So I knew what was coming when the review came out. I knew he was going to be negative because every post that he'd made, even before it was released, was negative, and that's fine. The thing with David is he's got his own ACAN. Now, I'm not saying he's biased because of having his own ACAN, but the fact that his own ACAN is a very sleight of hand based trick, which it is, and it's a beautiful version. I'm not going to say it's not. It's a great version, and David performs it very, very well. It's a particularly tricky trick to do. It's we've talked about that. It's based on as he wins. It's but because he likes a particular type of thing, he doesn't like my approach to ACAN, and that's absolutely fine, and there's no problem with that. And he ran the numbers, and me and Lloyd were saying that it's a 70% probability, but if you add a presentation to it, it's an 89%. David ran the numbers and said it's 83.4%, so we're 5% off. So thank you for that, David. I'm very, very sorry.
Cool.
But I will say a couple of things very, very quickly. I have felt that David has come across as a little bit, I don't want to say biased. Here's the thing, there's certain things that I've been a little bit unhappy with. So first of all, when he put the video up, when he put the review up, he had this whole montage of me licking my fingers. One of his points was, in order to do this trick, you need to lick your fingers to separate the doubles, which you don't, as you know, because you've done this trick. Mm-hmm. But he took loads of videos of me licking my fingers, and he even wrote, lick on the screen whenever I lick my fingers, and he made it as a montage and put it in the review. And I've got medical issues with the hands at the moment, so that wasn't particularly, I didn't like that. And the other thing is, when he was making his point about how you have to get people to change their mind, he'd picked a load of videos up. He'd picked a load of videos, and he'd just montaged a load of videos together, showing me having to get, from Blackpool, various different people had filmed me doing it, right, showing me where I'm performing it, and people have to change their mind. Which is kind of almost creating a bit of I don't want to say it's a false narrative, because yes, I've been very open, you do have to change your mind, but it's a small amount of the time. But to put a montage where it happens every single time, how many times did you see me do this where I was never having to do that? But none of those performances came up. The other thing that I'll say is that, it's been a bit tough. I've been very mopey in the office. It's been a bit tough when you have so many people saying so many nasty things about you, when you have all the emails coming through and you have all of this. I haven't been in a good place. When it all kicked off, I was in quite a bad place, especially with video, photos coming through of Ryland and everything. I was, you know me, I was quite upset about it. And then there were people posting in the comments of David's video going, oh, Craig's having a mental breakdown about this. He's getting worse than Justin Miller. And, oh, Craig's losing his shit about this. It's so funny to see. And he was liking those comments. It's kind of like, it's like, you know, people are saying that I'm having a hard time about this and you're liking those comments. Like, forget about the fact whether you're biased or unbiased. Just as a medical professional going, yay, Craig's having a mental breakdown. Let's go. Wonderful. You know, and then, you know, from my point of view, have I put negative reviews online about stuff? Absolutely I have. However, I do it based on two things. One, I learn it, I perform it, and I go out and I review it based on the performance. But the other thing that I do is once the review's gone up, that's it. I don't try and change people's minds about the subject. But like Alan, you know Alan? Mm-hmm. He put a video up. He did a review of the Atomic Deck, loved it. And he held back on it. It was one of the latter reviews because he spent a bunch of time going out and performing it. So he knew what the reactions were like.
That's a good way to do it.
David went on there and said, on a comment on his video, and said, you know, I've come here because people have told me about this review. You're incorrect about this review. Let me tell you why. Like, why are you going on a positive review and trying to change the reviewer's mind? I get you don't like it. You've put your own review out. Fine. And then on top of that, he then put a second review up. A couple of days later, he put a review up and he called it Atomic Deck Dupe City. And the reason he called it Dupe City is because, and you know, we never mentioned this because it wasn't an important thing to mention. You probably haven't even noticed, even though you did this a load. But you know, like the way that the Atomic Deck works, whatever card you name, you'll never see a duplicate of that. What will happen sometimes, especially with a higher number, is if you're dealing, you might see a duplicate of another card. So if you name the 7 of diamonds, you might see two of hearts, one there and one a little bit further down. Now, nobody ever notices that. I've done this hundreds of times. Nobody's ever noticed. Nobody does. You know, you look at something like the Quran deck where you've got you've got 4 duplicates showing up again and again and again, and nobody ever notices because it's the Quran deck. You know, people don't notice that because they're focusing.
You're not looking for it.
You're focusing on the other card. So it was never an issue.
I didn't even know that.
Nobody did because we never even brought it up. But one person brought it up. Obviously, it came to David's attention. And it got brought up in the Facebook group, and I imagine somebody from the Facebook group told David. But it came up a couple of days before David actually did his video. And then, rather than, he did a second video, just with him, it only happens when it's higher numbers. Like 40s and stuff like that. So he was just dealing, he did another video saying, welcome to Dupe City, which is, you know what I mean? It's like, and then he's dealing to this higher number, and what he's doing is, so that people know that there's a dupe, he's like, 2 of hearts, duplicates, 7 of diamonds, duplicate, duplicate, you know, there's like, and then he's like, well, this is another reason why it's terrible. And then, you know, first of all, how about reaching out to us and saying, hey, I'm about to put this second video up. Have you got something that you want to say about this? Because we'd already, you know, people are being very active in the Facebook group. Somebody already brought this to our attention. And we've already put a fix in place for it, for people that want to fix it. Now, from my point of view, it's non-issue. I'm not going to do anything about it. But again, if you pass me your phone very quickly and you go onto the Atomic Deck app, there's actually 3 stacks in there. Well, there's 2, but there's going to be a third added today. If you look at the settings, look at this. There's actually a primary stack and a secondary stack. The primary stack is the normal stack. If you select secondary stack, we've taken all of the instances where a duplicate will be shown when it's dealing, when it's being dealt, and we've changed 0s to 1s and 2s to 3s. So if there is a duplicate when you're dealing it, now you'll be told to deal it face down instead of face up.
Right, okay.
So you're never going to see that. And we've just added a third stack as well, where it's the primary stack, but with the ace of spades hidden. Because somebody said, well, the ace of spades, if that showed up as a duplicate, people might see it, which they don't. But we've made a third stack, and the third stack is simply the primary stack with the ace of spades taken. So everything that's been said, we've given people a fix if they want the fix. But it's just felt very personal. Steve Faulkner has just put a review up. He wasn't 100% positive with it. He was negative about something. Said he wouldn't do it, but he said it. But how he approached it was very, very, very professional.
Well, it's Steve, isn't it?
Yeah, me, I'm not always the most professional reviewer. I try to be. I'm not always the most professional reviewer. So I know that there's people that are going to be saying, well, you know, don't you do this? And I have in the past. I try not to now, in all honesty. But you know, I just felt that the way that he's approached a lot of stuff makes me feel like he's got an agenda. Now that might not be the case, but this is my opinion. Just like his opinion is the trick isn't very good, but I don't see why you need to go on other people's videos and just make comments about how it's terrible. I don't see why you need to do a follow-up video. I don't see why you need to cut performances together to help make a point. And the whole lick thing really upset me. But there you go. That it did. Whatever. That's what I've got to say about that. But to be clear, you've got a good ACAN. I like your ACAN. Mine's better, but I like your ACAN.
What about Sean Devine?
I've already spoken about him.
Okay.
He shouldn't have reviewed the trick based on not watching the tutorial. Anybody who thinks that was an honest review when you haven't even... What do you think? I know you don't like to get involved with controversy. That's fine. But if somebody rips the trick to bits, literally tears the trick up...
He apologised though, right?
He apologised.
Done. Are you having a mental breakdown?
Is that really a question?
Yeah.
Potentially.
I mean, as long as I've known you.
I'm very passionate about things. I don't like to let it go. And I do, you know, probably more than a lot of people that are watching this, I do let things get to me. I do let things get to me. And honestly, how many times have you and I had a conversation where you're just like, let it go?
Let it go. Let it go.
Trying to be serious.
Yeah, but like you do. Just let it go, man.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult.
It is for you.
You know, it is for you. So I've seen you with your road rage in the van on the way to an Illusion show.
Only when we're late because you've
No.
been dicking about.
How will you feel if there's a cyclist in front of you?
I don't like cyclists. But other than that, like, it's cool.
I will get video evidence of you in a van screaming out of your window.
I do not scream out of the window.
No, you scream at me.
I scream at you, yeah. And it's easy to scream at Ryland.
But am I having a... Is that really a question?
Yeah. Are you having a mental breakdown?
You know, actually, some people have said that in David's video and a couple of other people's videos, gleefully going, "Oh, Craig's having a mental breakdown. This is so funny, watching him squirm." No, I'm not having a mental breakdown. The bottom line is, and you know what, I did read one comment. Because I put a post on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it. I was like, I need to remind myself sometimes I'm awesome. You know, I do. Like, I take all the negative comments seriously, and I gloss over all the positive comments, and I just, you know, you can have 100 people.
Maybe you should start doing that the other way around.
Yeah, I'm like, 100 people will say you're brilliant, and then one person will say, you suck, and it'll be the one that I suck.
Concentrate on the 100.
I know, and I need to remind myself. And I put a post up saying how brilliant I was. I'm Alec Azam, three-time Creator of the Year, 3 years in a row. I've just won every award that there is to be won at Penguin Magic, 3 years in a row. Creator of the Year. I've every single thing I bring sells out. You know, I'm freaking awesome. I'm sitting here in my own office that I built off my own back and hard work. I am fucking amazing.
You're all right.
I'm good.
That leads us on really nicely to the next question. Has the trick sold out? Apparently, Don Juan says no.
Hang on, I need to preface this. Hi, I'm Craig Petty. Have you ever seen Don Juan? Have you ever seen him make a post anywhere? He says, "This is Don Juan," and then he does his thing.
Oh.
I'm Don Juan. He just basically introduces himself. I really would like to, you know, I'm not...
Well, you do the whole welcome to Magic TV.
Yeah, but he does it in a post on the Magic Cafe. He's like, I am Don... It is Don Juan.
I see. Right, okay.
He just does it on a post.
I think
on a
videos
post.
and stuff.
I'm not taking... Okay, I'm taking the piss. This is me taking the piss, but in a jokey way.
But has the trick sold out?
Right, here's the thing.
He says no.
This is recent. This is recent. This happened this morning. So I went on the Magic Cafe and I
really?
went,
Mike's that up to date with what's happening?
it's good. He's on the ball. I went on the Magic Cafe and I was like, it's sold out. Now, Atomic Deck, we had 5,000 units made, which is more than a normal trick. Here's the thing, a lot of people, they don't understand the industry. They don't understand the magic industry from a creating and selling point of view. And so they make statements based on a lack of knowledge more than anything else. And I've been in this industry for a long time, way back to the Wizard product review. I know this industry inside out, left side, backwards, sideways, up and down, whatever. Your average trick, if it sells 1,000 units, it's considered a success with your average trick. Most of my tricks sell a lot more than that. The Atomic Deck got released a week and a half ago, and it sold out 5,000 units. And I said, hey, it's completely sold out. It's already getting reprinted by Murphy's. It's going to be about a 3 or 4 month wait, which is true. Don Juan went on the Magic Cafe and said, well, I've spoken to my sources at Murphy's Magic, and there's 128 units left in the warehouse. It's just...
Wow.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Are there 128 units left in the warehouse? Yes, but that's still pretty much considered a sellout. Find me somewhere else. So that means that it sold just under 4,900 units in a week. That's going to be one of the fastest selling tricks of all time. I don't think it quite beats the Atomic Deck, the Quantum Deck, but, you know, it comes close. I think it comes close to some of the other records that I've set in this industry, Don. But it's not a complete sellout. No, there's a couple, 100 odd units left in the warehouse. But that's pretty much considered a sellout, and they're allocated. I know they're allocated because they're sending me 100 of them. So I need 100 of those 128, else we're going to have nothing to sell at any of the conventions coming up over the next couple of months.
Yeah, because we've got nothing here.
We got nothing here. We need those Atomic Decks. So it has pretty much sold out. And
Are they
then
the ones that do cheat chips?
oh, that's Penguin.
Oh, okay. Doesn't matter then.
You want a cheetah chips, don't you?
We're out. We need some to sell.
No, people buy the stuff a lot, but yeah. So technically, I think there's still a few new units left, but they're allocated. It's sold more in 1 year than most tricks will do in their entire lifetime, and then some. So no, Don, you're kind of wrong, but you're right in the same way. But just the fact that you had to jump on, it was Don that was like making a big campaign on the Magic Cafe about me licking my fingers. He's like, look at Craig licking his fingers. He's disgusting.
Why does it matter?
Apparently it matters to Don.
Oh, okay.
Apparently I need to go and get help on that.
What about people saying that you had to fix problems and it wasn't ready for release?
This is my new attitude. I shouldn't be doing this, should I?
Probably not. You could just answer the question.
Sorry, go on.
What about people saying you had to fix problems and it wasn't ready for release?
Oh, this is the one that pisses me off. So,
Oh, God.
buckle up. Right, no, here's the thing, right? You know as well as me that me, Lloyd, Rich, George, Jake, and Josh have been working behind the scenes to add features, because since we set up the Facebook group, people have been saying, it'd be great to have a crib. Okay, we got a crib. It'd be great to have the crib hidden in a shipping thing, and now people on the Facebook group are doing that for us, which is amazing. But you have people going in there going, oh, I'd like to fix that, I'd like to fix that, I'd like to fix the other. So we've been adding lots of features, like that new feature on the phone. Isn't that great, where you can see the range?
Yeah.
The other thing that's been added is it now has voice integration. So you can literally have the phone down on the table, yeah, and it will be listening for your voice. And so
I know whose idea that was.
Josh.
Oh, was it Josh?
Josh
Oh,
set
that's
it
not
up
who I
through
would have
Wingman
guessed.
Pro. Yeah. Why? Who were you thinking?
Jake.
No, Josh's idea this was. But so it listens for your voice,
That's really clever.
and when it hears the card and the number, then sends it through to the Apple Watch.
That's really clever.
So you can literally just have the phone on the table, and then you'll get a notification, and you just look, and you just know exactly what to do.
That's
the phone
good.
doesn't look like it's even in play at all, one jot. Josh has also built it into a remote control. So you can have a remote control. So like you can buy these remote controls on Amazon with different numbers on them. So name a card, boop, 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 in your pocket,
Oh,
name a
I
number,
see.
pop, 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 pop,
Okay.
and it just programs and then sends it to your watch or to a Peaksmith or something. He's even built it so that you can have a hidden earpiece, which you can get from Amazon, and it will literally tell you if it works, and if it doesn't work, what you need to do to make it work.
Wow.
Like, we've been adding all of this, the secondary stacks, all of this stuff, and people have been saying, it was rushed to market. It shouldn't have been released. They're having to fix it post-release, which is bullshit. Because how many times did you see me performing this for 2 years prior to it coming out? Testing it in every possible environment. You saw me doing it at shows, you saw me doing it at close-up shows. It's why we've not been able to do a mat test.
When was Newmarket?
That was like November, and I was doing it live at Newmarket. And fooling every magician that was in the room, if you remember. Everyone was like, it's a stooge, it's got to be a stooge. It's easy to go, oh, I know how it works now that the method's out there. But when nobody knew what this was, and I walked out at Newmarket in front of 100 magicians, and I opened the show by dropping the deck down on the table and getting everyone to go on their phones and blah, 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 blah. I had people going, it's a stooge. Everybody. I had people offering to give me big money to get my prototype deck. Like...
There was a few people that came over to me.
Yeah, so it's not been rushed to market. It's been tested ad infinitum. But what we are doing, don't confuse it wasn't ready to come out with we are supporting the product after it's been released. I don't think there's a level of support that has happened with any product in the magic community as much as we're doing with this. Me, Lloyd, Josh, Jake and George and Rich are literally every day adding features. Yeah, Josh is in the middle of working on it right now to add another 3 features. We're constantly in the middle of doing stuff, but that's supporting the product, which never happens in the magic industry. And you have people in the Facebook group going, oh my God, I can't believe the level of support. But then it's how you interpret stuff. One person who likes the trick, who has bought it and is in the Facebook group, is like, oh my God, this is the level of support is amazing. We've asked for something and it's happened. Josh has just implemented foreign languages into the Notes app, so now any language will work. Which is just ridiculous. Well, other people will go, well, he's had to fix it. He's had to fix all these problems because it was shit to begin with.
It wasn't shit to begin with. It worked to begin with.
All we've done, we've made it better.
Feedback from people that have bought it to improve the product, that can only be a good thing.
Exactly.
Okay, anyway, you've already addressed this one. Is creating this trick a cash grab?
No, but I will say one thing.
Okay,
I will say one thing, which is that is the main thing that people have said. They've said, oh, the only reason that Craig bought this out is to make money. That's what they've said. The only reason that Craig's bought this out.
Why would you spend thousands and thousands of pounds developing a trick and marketing it and getting Murphy's and everybody else that's worked on the trick involved in it for it to not make any money? Everyone will be out of business. It's got to make money. It's a product. It's
a product. It's got to make money, obviously. I'll say a couple of things. First of all, if my primary concern was to make money, I wouldn't be taking Matt off the sales desk and sitting
for a long time
and sitting in here making this video. Just so that people understand, you don't have to be exact, but how much money gets turned over in that room back there?
Lots.
Lots and lots of money.
Enough to pay a bunch of people's wages every month and 100 children's entertainers.
And he's the one that books a lot of those parties in, and he's sitting in here with me asking me questions. So first of all, I'm calling bullshit on that one. Second of all, if I really wanted to make money, I wouldn't be creating magic. There are much easier ways for me to do it. Third of all, it's a cash grab. Anytime somebody wants me to do something for them, I say yes, and I don't ask them for anything in return. The amount of stuff I've done for John Morton, I've created trailers for him. No, I've created trailers for him. I've created tutorials for him for free. Penguin Magic. I went over for a week to Penguin Magic to do the holiday special. They didn't pay me for that. In fact, how many gigs did I miss for going over to Penguin to do that?
Yeah, I had to do them.
And I did it for free and lost out on a bunch of money because of him. And I went out and I went to do that.
Because of me.
Sorry, you had the money. I didn't get the money. Because of Penguin, which is fine. I wanted to do that. And I didn't want any money in return because I wanted to do that. I wanted to give back to the community. Hell, I'm going to Portugal next week for 2 days to film a project for Joel Miranda because Chris James has designed the project and he wants me to help him out on it. I'm not getting paid for that project at all. I've just offered to help.
Do you need a driver?
I've got an airplane. So, you know, for the people that say, oh, it's a cash grab, you really just don't fucking know me. If you don't like the trick, that's fine. But don't think my motives for making this trick are because to make money, because genuinely it's not. And the people that say that, you're honestly a bunch of fucking idiots.
I love this question.
What? It's near the end. He probably got bored at this point. What?
Whoever wrote this is brilliant. Why would you ask somebody this question? Okay, Craig.
Yes.
Are you a terrible creator? would you ask that question?
I will say one thing. That's come up a lot.
Are you a terrible creator?
A lot of people have said I'm a terrible creator.
Yeah, but that's asking you if you think you're a terrible creator.
No.
That's not a statement saying you are a terrible creator. That's someone going, do you think you're a terrible creator?
Look, I have to be passionate about this. I will say one thing. For every single person in every single comment that said that I can't create my way out of a paper bag, that Craig just takes generic ideas and turns them into products, whatever it is that you've said, I've read it all, I've seen it all. The bottom line is, I have created more magic in the last 4 years than anybody else has put together. I have literally won every single industry award that there is to win, and I keep winning them every single year. The Penguin Magic Creator of the Year comes out very, very soon. I guarantee you that I've won that for a 3rd year in a row, because nobody, absolutely nobody, comes close to me. I can sit down with someone's product and I can take it and I can create 15 routines like that. Why is it that every single production company is begging to work with me? Why is it that everybody wants to work with me? Alakazam, Vanishing Ink, TCC, Penguin, Murphy's, 1914. The list goes on and on and on. Why? Because they know that I'm going to come in and I'm going to do an incredible job. You may not like me, that's fine. You may not like the tricks that I do, that's fine. But I'm telling you right now, I am one of the best creators. And when it's all said and done, and when all the dust has cleared and all the smoke has settled in 50 years' time, when Ryland is a fucking granddad, they will look back at this period of time and they will say that Craig Petty was the greatest creator of that era. And I'm telling you right now, every single person in the comments that says I'm not, don't tell me you're funny, make me laugh. Don't tell me that I'm a shit creator. Why don't you show me what you've created? Why don't you show me how you can do better? Oh, why? Because you can't. Because you know what you create? You create nothing but noise. You just sit there and you attack other people facelessly without telling them who they are. I am out there doing it, and you're out there wishing you were doing it. And every single person that says I'm a bad creator, you're just jealous, because here's the thing. I go out there and I make it happen, and I win all the awards, and I sell all of the fucking products, and I get shit done, while you're just there crying into your Cheerios in your mummy's basement because you want to be doing something in this industry that makes it look like you're important, when in actual fact, you're a complete and total waste of fucking time and energy. And I have had enough. I have absolutely had enough with people attacking me and my ability, because I have done more and I continue to do more in one day than you will do in your entire lives. Anybody who says that I'm a bad creator, you've got Craig Petty envy. You can go fucking suck a dick. Now, that's probably the old Craig. I probably shouldn't have done that, but that's...
Wow.
I needed that.
We touch a nerve with
that felt good. That felt good.
Yeah.
That felt good. I'm only talking about the faceless people, the people that haven't even got the balls. One more thing. Anybody who wants to say anything negative about me, especially the people that want to fucking send me death threats or send death threats to me of my son and my daughter and my wife, anybody who wants to post shit through my letterbox, anybody who wants to do that, I'm telling you right now, come up to me at any magic convention and come up to me and say, hey, I want to kill you. Don't just fucking sit there. Don't just sit there hiding behind a fake username. Don't create a fake email address to email me, to tell me you hate me. Pick up the phone and call me and tell me you hate me. It's just spineless. Come on, you can agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I hate cyberbullying. I hate bullying of any kind, and faceless people that just hide away and then say whatever they want to say, regardless of how it affects people, because they're just hiding their names and they're hiding their identities. It's a pussy's way out, man. I don't like it at all.
I completely agree. I can sum it up with 8 words. I'm Craig Petty, and I'm better than you.
Great. What would you say to people that say you are flogging a dead horse?
They're right. Completely fucking correct. I shouldn't be making this video. We should be in there selling shit. I don't know why we're doing this.
Okay,
this is ridiculous. I'm not going to change anybody's mind. If people don't like this trick, I'm not going to change. I don't know why I'm fucking doing this. Do you know why I'm doing this?
Not going to change.
You're right. You're right. I'm a fucking idiot. I am. I'm a fucking fucking moron. I sit here giving these fucking negative Nancies my time and my energy, where I should be spending more time and effort thinking about more important things to do, like having a shit. Like anything is more important than making this fucking video. They are right. I am flogging a dead horse. If you don't like it, more power to you. If you like it, that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to change your mind, but the bottom line is, it's sold out. Oh, sorry, Don. It sold 4,897 units or something. It's almost sold out.
Why is the trick so polarising?
Because I'm involved and I'm a fucking polarising motherfucker.
Sweet. That's it. All of them done. Sorted. Anything else to add?
Well, I'd like you to wrap this up. That was very good.
Thanks.
You can wrap it up.
How?
I don't know. Give your opinion on the atomic deck.
I don't do card tricks, and it's not the kind of thing that I would normally do at a gig, but I enjoyed performing it at Blackpool.
For the hour and 15 minutes that you had
For the
done.
hour and 45 minutes that I had. No, but then I got some more off Alex, so then we got to do it again.
For about another 20 minutes.
And I was playing with it for a couple of weeks beforehand to make sure that I could actually do it, because I knew it was going to be a popular trick. As far as performance goes, if for me getting somebody to change a number wasn't an issue, because I figured out a way that I performed that and I was comfortable doing it, and I was getting whenever I needed to on the stand, I was getting people to change the number. It wasn't an issue, and then people were still buying it, so I'm guessing that I did it okay, and well enough that it was still impressive enough that they then bought it. Nobody went, "Oh, you had to change the number," and then walked away.
That's the crazy. So, you've had some people say, "Oh, my friend bought it." It's never them. It's always their friend. My friend bought it at Blackpool and he massively regrets it. I don't know why, because you bought it probably after watching a demo. And so why are you now unhappy with it? Or some people are saying, I bought it after watching Lloyd perform it, or after watching your Penguin special.
And
but
I had my phone on the stand.
Yeah, I'm now
and
really
I was using the phone in front of people, and and then there were like groups of people standing around the table, and I'd have like 2 or 3 people, and I'd get them to change the number and stuff, and then everybody would buy it. So it wasn't like, it wasn't a problem.
No. Is it perfect? No.
Is there a perfect ACAN?
It's not perfect.
Wouldn't the perfect ACAN be actual magic?
Well, the perfect ACAN would be, you put the deck down on the table, you have someone name a card, you have someone name a number, and you deal. And that's what the Burglass effect is. That's what the Holy Grail is. This is not the Holy Grail. This is not the Burglass effect. It's designed to replicate the best Eddie card at any number out there, because a high percentage of the time, you name a card and a number, that card's going to be at that number. If you have to reframe people, sometimes you do. But it's not perfect by any stretch of imagination. I can understand why people would prefer unbiased Magic Reviews, the unbiased ACAN, because it's a way of doing Assy Wins ACAN without using a mem deck. And go and check it out, by the way. Go to Unbiased Magic Reviews, go into the one of the newest videos is him performing it. It's a great performance. He does a great job. He gets them to write down. It feels really, really fair. It's great. It's going to require work. And David will agree with that. You know, it's not going to be something that you can do immediately. It's not the easiest trick in the world, but put time and effort in, you can do it great. This is my solution to the any card at any number. It's not perfect, but it is perfect for me.
There you go.
And it is perfect for other people as well. But, you know, I don't know. Got nothing else to say.
Sweet. Can we go then?
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll try and put something way more interesting up over the weekend. Thank you for watching. This is Matt. My name's Craig. And you have been watching the final video. I can't say that. I bet there'll be another one next week.
Oh, for God's sake.
I really hope there won't.
You've already released one movie. This has been about, 12 hours long.
It can't be 12 hours. I don't know how long it's been. It can't be 12 hours.
What's the bet in the camera? The memory ran out on the camera about an hour and a half ago.
I bet not have, because Mike's not in there watching it. We'll be fucked.
What's the bet in that this hasn't been recorded for
Wait
an hour and a half?
there. It's only an hour and 20 minutes and it's still going strong.
It's still like, okay. All right.
Yeah, we're fine.
Only an hour and 20 minutes.
Only an hour and 20 minutes. It's not even. It's an hour and. The other one was 2.5 hours. I think we could spend more time talking.
If I don't get in there soon, we're not going to be able to have lights on in the building next week.
Thanks very much for watching this video. We'll be back again soon. I need him to sell stuff because I'm a money-grabbing motherfucker. Remember that. And, you know, by buying the atomic deck, you sold your soul to me. Because I am the devil. No, that's mine. You don't even do it. I'm Craig.
I'm late for lunch.
The amount of times you checked your fucking phone, your watch.
I'm hungry.
We'll see you again. Take care. Bye, everyone.